Welcome everyone to the Starry Mustache channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So as you all know, the Switch 2 Direct premiered today and it was amazing. And it's shown us all even more information on a Nintendo Switch 2 console. So I've decided to make this video today to explain how much of an upgrade the Switch 2 truly is compared to the original Nintendo Switch. The amount of storage on the Nintendo Switch 2 is actually 8 times larger than the Nintendo Switch 1's amount of storage, believe it or not. Because the original Nintendo Switch 1's storage was only 32GB of storage, and the Nintendo Switch 2 on the other hand has 256GB of storage, which allows you to install 8 times the amount of games that you would on the original Nintendo Switch. And I think that's going to be really handy because with such powerful games like Mario Kart World and Metroid Prime 4, all of that, that's going to tank your storage if you install that on the original Switch. And if when you get the Switch 2 you just want to go on some old Switch 1 games in their upgraded versions, you now can because of the amount of storage the Switch 2 has. And on the other hand, if Nintendo tried doing that with the original Switch, they wouldn't be able to pull it off. The Nintendo Switch 2's FPS is a huge step up compared to the original Switch 1's FPS, which means you can go back to old games and play new games, but they'll look so much smoother because of the FPS doubling from the 60 FPS the Switch 1 had to the absolutely stunning 120 FPS that the Switch 2 has. Just imagine the possibilities. 120 FPS Luigi's Mansion would be amazing, and it would be even better with 4K, which then leads us to our next improvement, the resolution. The resolution on the Nintendo Switch 2 is just another really nice feature. Here's how it works. If your Nintendo Switch 2 is in tabletop mode, it will be in 1080p but still in HDR as well. But if your Nintendo Switch 2 is in dock mode, it runs in 4K and HDR, which is a really nice feature, especially when it's in tabletop mode. Because then, compared to the original Switch, the HDR makes the screen so much more vibrant with any game you play, which really helps the game feel more alive and more interactive, and overall just more enjoyable. Another great feature about having improved resolution is the upgrade packs you can get for the old Switch 1 games. For example, if you were playing Mario Odyssey on your Nintendo Switch 2 and you thought it looked a bit low quality compared to your other Switch 2 games, you could buy an upgrade pack that I'm guessing will be around $10 or pounds wherever you're from, which will make the graphics in the game go from 1080p all the way up to 4K. And there is no way that I would not be getting that for Mario Odyssey. The 3D surround sound of the Switch 2 is going to be another amazing feature that will also help the game feel so much more immersive than they would on the original Switch. Here's how it works. The Nintendo Switch 2 has 3D surround sound speakers built into the console. When Nintendo first announced this in the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct, I thought you would have to buy some headset accessory to make it work properly, but surprisingly that's not the case. The Nintendo Switch 2 basically has the same 3D audio capabilities as the PS5's Pulse headset, and if you've used that headset you know how good it is, and how much it adds to the experience of buying a new game, playing it, and just chilling. Nintendo Switch 2's game chat feature is my personal favourite out of all of them. As you all know by now, for years now people have been asking Nintendo for some sort of group voice chat feature, and it's finally here with Nintendo Switch 2's game chat. It's very similar to PlayStation's PS Parties, and takes a little bit of inspiration from Discord's design, but the Nintendo Switch 2's take on this adds so much more to the experience. For this to work, the Nintendo Switch 2 has a built-in microphone at the top of it. It can pick up your voice as audio from a pretty long distance too, and the best part is it can remove any background noise to make your voice be heard so much clearer to all your friends on game chat. There is also an accessory made specifically for Nintendo Switch 2's game chat feature, the Nintendo Switch 2 camera. The Nintendo Switch 2 camera adds so much to game chat. This allows you to have a webcam made exclusively for game chat. Another great thing about game chat is the screen share option, which allows you to share what's happening on your screen with your friends on game chat. The mouse functionality of the Nintendo Switch 2's Joy-Con 2s allows a lot of cool possibilities. For example, in the brand new Nintendo IP for Switch 2, drag X drive. This mechanic is how we'll control everything in that game. The menus, the movement and dunking. I think that this is Nintendo's way of testing mouse functionality for PC games like Half-Life or Garry's Mod. And that's all the improvements I can actually think of for this video. I just want to thank you all so much for watching through this video. If you enjoyed, please consider liking, subscribing, get all them notifications on if you don't want to miss on the next video. And I'll see you in the next one.